I am John Hoying, and I currently am an intern at Advanced Solutions Life Sciences.
How do you describe a typical day at work?
At the moment, since I'm balancing school on top of that, usually it's about 20-hour work week. It consists of coming in and just deciding whether or not I'm going to be doing engineering things or biology-related things. Because I do a little bit of both. Because I also have a robotics certificate, and we have a arm that we use for robotics. So at the moment, I'm the one who's primarily using that.
What skills or education brought you to this job?
I am currently in my last semester of the biotechnology degree at UNH Manchester. But as well as that, I am an accelerated master, so I'm pursuing a graduate degree on top of that. And once this semester comes and I have my undergrad, I will probably continue to pursue that. I'm definitely later in regards to my scholastic career, because when I first came out of high school, I went to college, and I went through like 2 different degrees trying to find out what I wanted to do. And then I didn't want to do either of them, and I dropped out of college and worked for like 5-6 years in a non-related field. And it wasn't until I learned about this opportunity in the mill yard, or in at least Manchester as a whole, that my parents had mentioned. They're like, do you want to come with? And I was thinking, at this point, I'm kind of stuck in this job where I'm kind of in that loop of like, well, I just go to work, come back, go to work, come back. And I kept telling myself, well, you're going to go back to school eventually. And I was like, well, this has got to be the best kick in the pants to get me to just go, all right, new start, get the education that I know I need, and now there's already a field ready for it. And so I went from coming out of college the first time at 21 to being finally graduating at 28. So every once in a while you just kind of need that kick to like, okay, I need to get out of this rut, go back to school. And it's so far been worthwhile. There's definitely been a lot more opportunity here than when I was in Kentucky in regards to just the scope of STEM-related fields.
What path brought you to STEM?
My dad is a PhD, and he's one of the head scientists for Advanced Solution Life Sciences. And throughout all of my life, I have been around his lab, where even when I was in high school, I did a science fair project in his lab and was able to use the facilities there to have at least a more interesting science fair than your average volcano that just pops out. So it's just one of those, I've always been around the field, and I've always been encouraged to pursue whatever I want. I mean, I've bounced around like 2 or 3 different degrees at this point, finally settling on biotech seems like a good one. And yeah, it's just, I've always been around it, always reasonably good at it, I like to think, so might as well pursue it.
Why did you choose Manchester?
I know that at one point it was definitely one of those hotbeds of, I think it was fabric creation and all that. It was one of the places in the world to go to it. And now it's started to be kind of moving towards that biotech field with, I believe it's Army, that has this kind of consortium of like all these different groups that are trying to get together to work towards manufacturing biology-related things, organs, skin, vessels, that sort of thing. That was a large reason why I had moved here with my family. Was I saw the budding nature of it. My dad's in the same field, so it's kind of one of those, it would be almost stupid of me not to take the opportunity to pursue this as many options as there are.
What do you see for opportunities for STEM growth in Manchester?
I've heard the comparison at one point that the goal was to be the next Silicon Valley, but now for manufacturing anything in the biology field. So I imagine as long as it keeps growing like it is, as multiple companies start coming together, or either having like Advanced Solutions has an offshoot, the life sciences office here, where the primary office is still in Kentucky. And you see more of that happening. I see this becoming much easier, to share ideas and technology with each other, so that way you can better your experiment or your test or anything of that nature. And then I can honestly even imagine start working with potentially something like in Boston or anything nearby, because the nice thing about the mill yards is it's relatively close to some of the biggest tech industries around. So on top of having everything right here, it's hour, 2 hours away. So if you need something in Boston, cool, that works. Need something in Maine? All right, that's fine. We can go up there now. Yeah, I think that's where it's probably going.